and I want to show you a picture of how a lot of Hungarian ladies go around nowadays. Today, let's talk about a movie that can help us to understand better how fashion industry, how clothing in general work. Of course, I'm talking about the 2006 The Devil Wears Prada, inspired by, based on the homonymous novel by Lauren Weisberger, I think I pronounced it kind of okay, starring the great Meryl Streep in the role of Miranda, the head of a fashion magazine, next to Anne Hathaway in the role of Andy, the assistant of Miranda. If you think this is a girly movie, well, you are extremely wrong. Clearly, it's a movie, it's that type of comedy that has also that sweet romantic touch, okay, that a lot of ladies like in movies, but it's not simply about that. It's really a movie from which we can learn a lesson about the industry and about ourselves, how we approach the industry, and how, in general, wrong we are in the assumptions that we have toward clothing and fashion. If you watch the movie, you know that at a certain point, Andy, the assistant, who is really not into fashion, starts to have a little laugh when her colleagues were in doubt which belt to choose. For Andy, they looked really the same. So Miranda had the chance to give her a lesson about fashion industry. Let me read you what she said. Okay, I see. You think this has nothing to do with you. You go to your closet and you select that lumpy, loose sweater, for instance, because you're trying to tell the world that you take yourself too seriously to care about what you put on your back. But what you don't know is that sweater is not just blue. It's not turquoise, it's not lapis, it's actually cerulean. Then she makes example of designers who use the cerulean in their collections, and she goes on. The cerulean quickly shot up in the collections of 8 different designers, and then it filtered down through department stores and then trickled down onto some tragic casual corner where you no doubt fished it out of some clearance bin. However, pay attention. However, that blue represents millions of dollars and countless jobs, and it's sort of comical how you think you made a choice that exempts you from the fashion industry when, in fact, you're wearing a sweater that was selected for you by the people in this room from a pile of stuff. Like Andy said, oh, I'm not yet familiar with this stuff. And yes, I see a lot of people around thinking that they are not touched by this, that these things are for superficial people, that they are really too serious to care about this. And as I mentioned in other videos, these things are absolutely not true. We all, some more, some less, but we all consider, we all mind what other people think about us. And it's a biological stuff, because through the way we are perceived, we build relationships. I don't want to make this content too long, so I will not dig again into it. So check previous contents if you're curious about this. And we are really all touched by this. Imagine, I give you the example of Budapest because, I live here now. A few years ago, in main capital cities of fashion, mainly Paris actually, got very popular a coat for women. Camel color. We can discuss about what was the original shape, the original cut, the original tone of color, but more or less, I guess you know what I'm talking about. After more than a year, in Budapest, the ladies, the girls who are more sensitive to the fashion topic started to wear it. And that's fine. If we are talking about people that are more sensitive to fashion, it's obvious that they follow the trends of the main capital cities of fashion. Well, what happened here lately, really in the last year, and it got even stronger in the last few months, is that also those people who pretend not to care about fashion, that are too serious because they do too serious intellectual jobs to be so superficial, well, they also started to wear it. And I want to show you a picture of how a lot of Hungarian ladies go around nowadays. Is on purpose taken from the back because could be really whoever. I'm not saying that all ladies in Budapest wear this way, but this is a good part of them. Not the majority, is a good percentage. You can really spot these ladies around the city. If you are from a distance, you see them from the back. You don't know who that person is. Could be somebody that you know or not, because they all look the same. And this picture is really accurate because that's the most common version of wearing that coat. Matching it with blonde hair. Accidentally, most of these ladies have very light, in most of cases, blonde hair, and wear the coat with jeans and with sad shoes. That's a personal comment, forget it. These ladies are unaware fashion victims. If you have experience of Budapest, you probably already noticed this. And if you haven't done it yet, maybe this video will turn on a light and say, oh yes, that's actually like that. This was just an example, but I can tell you that, for instance, when I was in high school in Italy, started at a certain point to be trendy a military shirt that a lot of boys and girls were wearing on a t-shirt, and this military shirt had the particular thing of having the German flag of one of the arms. And it became somehow the symbol of activists from the left. It was a kind of symbol of identity. And a lot of them felt really alternative wearing that, not realizing that they were criticizing conformism of people following the trends of the time, or being a bit more stylish, elegant, simply to join another conformism. What I want you to understand is that we are all part of this game. Doesn't matter what your style is. Everything we wear has been indirectly selected at the beginning of the chain by somebody else. And that's absolutely normal. And for guys, now I want to talk mainly to men that are watching. If you don't fully get this, or you don't think that is a thing, imagine that fashion works for clothing industry like Formula One works for car industry. I mean, probably you know that a lot of technologies that we have in our cars nowadays have been tested, developed, invented for Formula One races. And in that case, only after a few years, when the industry realized that they can be applied also to normal city cars, then they adapted to the products that at the end we buy. Differently from car, automotive industry, fashion, clothing industry leave us a wider range of personalization. The clothes available on the market, the type of clothes are really, really a lot. So again, we have a big chance to personalize our style. Remember, to be completely unique is more an aspiration than something concrete, practical, because we are 7 billion people. There are good chances that there is somebody else in the world who has a style that can resemble our own. So what's the point of all this, of trying to be unique, different, etc.? You don't have to try to be unique or different. You have to build an image that is coherent with yourself, an expression of your inner world. Doesn't matter if that style will resemble a bit the style of somebody else. You will still be different because you are another person and you wear those clothes, you wear that style in your own way because it's the expression of yourself. In a world where people tend to follow the trends, tend to stay in their comfort zone, tend not to dedicate time and energy to clothing, and when they do it, they feel fish out of water, because if you never do it, when you do it, of course you're out of your comfort zone. Well, in these circumstances, it's really, really easy to be outstanding. Ciao!